Anna Karenina. Anna Karenina is a novel by the Russian author Leo Tolstoy, first published in book form in 1878. Many writers consider it to be one of the greatest works of literature ever written, and Tolstoy himself called it his first true novel. It was initially released in serial installments from 1875 to 1877, all but the last part appearing in the periodical The Russian Messenger. A complex novel in 8 parts, with more than a dozen major characters, Anna Karenina is spread over more than 800 pages. Typically contained in 2 volumes, it deals with themes of betrayal, faith, family, marriage, Imperial Russian society, desire, and rural versus city life. The story centers on an extramarital affair between Anna and dashing cavalry officer Count Alexei Kirillovich Vronsky that scandalizes the social circles of Saint Petersburg and forces the young lovers to flee to Italy in a search for happiness, but after they return to Russia, their lives further unravel. Trains are a recurring motif throughout the novel, with several major plot points taking place either on passenger trains or at stations in Saint Petersburg or elsewhere in Russia. The story takes place against the backdrop of the liberal reforms initiated by Emperor Alexander II of Russia and the rapid societal transformations that followed. The novel has been adapted into various media including theater, opera, film, television, ballet, figure skating, and radio drama. Anna Karenina consists of more than the story of Anna Karenina, a married socialite, and her affair with the affluent Count Vronsky, though their relationship is a very strong component of the plot. The story starts when she arrives in the midst of a family broken up by her brother's unbridled womanizing, something that prefigures her own later situation. Though she would experience less tolerance by others. A bachelor, Vronsky is eager to marry Anna if she will agree to leave her husband Karenin, a senior government official, but she is vulnerable to the pressures of Russian social norms. The moral laws of the Russian Orthodox Church, her own insecurities, her love for her son, and Karenin's indecision. Although Vronsky and Anna go to Italy, where they can be together, they have trouble making friends. Back in Russia, she is shunned, becoming further isolated and anxious, while Vronsky pursues his social life. Despite Vronsky's reassurances, she grows increasingly possessive and paranoid about his imagined infidelity, fearing her own loss of control. A parallel story within the novel is that of Konstantin Levin, a wealthy country landowner who wants to marry Kitty, sister to Dolly and sister-in-law to Anna's brother Stepan Oblonsky. Levin has to propose twice before Kitty accepts. The novel details Levin's difficulties managing his estate, his eventual marriage, and his struggle to accept the Christian faith, until the birth of his first child. The novel explores a diverse range of topics throughout its approximately 1,000 pages. Some of these topics include an evaluation of the feudal system that existed in Russia at the time, politics, not only in the Russian government but also at the level of the individual characters and families, religion, morality, gender and social class. The novel opens with a scene that introduces Prince Stepan Arkadyevich Oblonsky, a Moscow aristocrat and civil servant who has been unfaithful to his wife, Princess Diana Alexandrovna. Dolly has discovered his affair with the family's governess, and the household and family are in turmoil. Steve informs the household that his married sister, Anna Arkadyevna Karenina, is coming to visit from Saint Petersburg in a bid to calm the situation. Meanwhile, Steva's childhood friend, Konstantin Dmitrievich Levin, arrives in Moscow with the aim of proposing to Dolly's youngest sister, Princess Katerina Alexandrovna Shabotska. Levin is a passionate, restless, but shy aristocratic landowner who, unlike his Moscow friends, chooses to live in the country on his large estate. He discovers that Kitty is also being pursued by Count Alexei Kirillovich Vronsky, an army cavalry officer. Whilst at the railway station to meet ÄnÄ, Steva bumps into Vronsky, who is there to meet his mother, the Countess Vronskaya. ÄnÄ and Vronskaya have traveled and talked together in the same carriage. As the family members are reunited, and Vronsky sees ÄnÄ for the first time, a railway worker accidentally falls in front of a train and is killed. ÄnÄ interprets this as an evil omen. Vronsky, however, is infatuated with ÄnÄ, and donates 200 rubles to the dead man's family, which impresses her. ÄnÄ is also uneasy about leaving her young son, Sergei, alone for the first time. At the Oblonsky home, ÄnÄ talks openly and emotionally to Dolly about Steva's affair and convinces her that Steva still loves her despite the infidelity. Dolly is moved by ÄnÄ's speeches and decides to forgive Steva. Kitty, who comes to visit Dolly and ÄnÄ, is just 18. In her first season as a debutante, she is expected to make an excellent match with a man of her social standing. Vronsky has been paying her considerable attention, and she expects to dance with him at a ball that evening. Kitty is very struck by ÄnÄ's beauty and personality and becomes infatuated with her just as Vronsky. When Levin proposes to Kitty at her home, she clumsily turns him down, believing she is in love with Vronsky and that he will propose to her, and encouraged to do so by her mother, who believes Vronsky would be a better match. At the big ball, Kitty expects to hear something definitive from Vronsky, but he dances with ÄnÄ instead, choosing her as a partner over a shocked and heartbroken Kitty. Kitty realizes that Vronsky has fallen in love with ÄnÄ and has no intention of marrying her, despite his overt flirtations. Vronsky has regarded his interactions with Kitty merely as a source of amusement and assumes that Kitty has acted for the same reasons. ÄnÄ, shaken by her emotional and physical response to Vronsky, returns at once to Saint Petersburg. Vronsky travels on the same train. During the overnight journey, the two meet and Vronsky confesses his love. ÄnÄ refuses him, although she is deeply affected by his attentions to her. Levin, crushed by Kitty's refusal, returns to his estate, abandoning any hope of marriage. ÄnÄ returns to her husband, Count Alexei Alexandrovich Karenina, a senior government official, and her son, Syosha, in St. Petersburg. On seeing her husband for the first time since her encounter with Vronsky, ÄnÄ realizes that she finds him unattractive, though she tells herself he is a good man. Part 2. The Shabotskys consult doctors over Kitty's health, which has been failing since Vronsky's rejection. A specialist advises that Kitty should go abroad to a health spa to recover. Dolly speaks to Kitty and understands she is suffering because of Vronsky and Levin, whom she cares for and had hurt in vain. Kitty, humiliated by Vronsky and tormented by her rejection of Levin, upsets her sister by referring to Steva's infidelity, saying she could never love a man who betrayed her. Meanwhile, Steva visits Levin on his country estate while selling a nearby plot of land. In St. Petersburg, Anna begins to spend more time in the inner circle of Princess Elizaveta, a fashionable socialite and Vronsky's cousin. Vronsky continues to pursue Anna. Although she initially tries to reject him, she eventually succumbs to his attentions and begins an affair. Meanwhile, Karenina reminds his wife of the impropriety of paying too much attention to Vronsky in public, which is becoming the subject of gossip. He is concerned about the couple's public image, although he mistakenly believes that Anna is above suspicion. Vronsky, a keen horseman, takes part in a steeplechase event, during which he rides his mare Frou-Frou too hard, his irresponsibility causing him to fall and break the horse's back. Anna is unable to hide her distress during the accident. Before this, Anna had told Vronsky that she is pregnant with his child. Karenina is also present at the races and remarks to Anna that her behavior is improper. Anna, in a state of extreme distress and emotion, confesses her affair to her husband. Karenina asks her to break it off to avoid further gossip, believing that their marriage will be preserved. Kitty and her mother travel to a German spa to recover from her ill health. There, they meet the wheelchair-bound pietist Madame Stahl and the saintly Virenka, her adopted daughter. Influenced by Virenka, Kitty becomes extremely pious, but becomes disillusioned by her father's criticism when she learns Madame Stahl is faking her illness. She then returns to Moscow. Part 3. Levin continues working on his estate, a setting closely tied to his spiritual thoughts and struggles. He wrestles with the idea of falseness, wondering how he should go about ridding himself of it, and criticizing what he feels is falseness in others. He develops ideas relating to agriculture, and the unique relationship between the agricultural laborer and his native land and culture. He comes to believe that the agricultural reforms of Europe will not work in Russia because of the unique culture and personality of the Russian peasant. When Levin visits Dolly, she attempts to understand what happened between him and Kitty and to explain Kitty's behavior. Levin is very agitated by Dolly's talk about Kitty, and he begins to feel distant from Dolly as he perceives her loving behavior towards her children as false. Levin resolves to forget Kitty and contemplates the possibility of marriage to a peasant woman. However, a chance sighting of Kitty in her carriage makes Levin realize he still loves her. Meanwhile, in Saint Petersburg, Karenina refuses to separate from Anna, insisting that their relationship will continue. He threatens to take away Syosha if she persists in her affair with Vronsky. Part 4. When Anna and Vronsky continue seeing each other, Karenina consults with a lawyer about obtaining a divorce. During the time period, a divorce in Russia could only be requested by the innocent party in an affair and required either that the guilty party confessed, which would ruin Anna's position in society and bar her from remarrying in the Orthodox Church, or that the guilty party be discovered in the act of adultery. Karenina forces Anna to hand over some of Vronsky's love letters, which the lawyer deems insufficient as proof of the affair. Steva and Dolly argue against Karenina's drive for a divorce. Karenina changes his plans after hearing that Anna is dying after the difficult birth of her daughter, Annie. At her bedside, Karenina forgives Vronsky. However, Vronsky, embarrassed by Karenina's magnanimity, unsuccessfully attempts suicide by shooting himself. As Anna recovers, she finds that she cannot bear living with Karenina despite his forgiveness and his attachment to Annie. When she hears that Vronsky is about to leave for a military posting in Tashkent, she becomes desperate. Anna and Vronsky reunite and elope to Europe, leaving Soyosha and Karenin's offer of divorce. Meanwhile, Steva acts as a matchmaker with Levin. He arranges a meeting between him and Kitty, which results in their reconciliation and betrothal. Part 5. Levin and Kitty marry and start their new life on his country estate. Although the couple are happy, they undergo a bitter and stressful first 3 months of marriage. Levin feels dissatisfied at the amount of time Kitty wants to spend with him and dwells on his inability to be as productive as he was as a bachelor. When the marriage starts to improve, Levin learns that his brother, Nikolai, is dying of consumption. Kitty offers to accompany Levin on his journey to see Nikolai and proves herself a great help in nursing Nikolai. Seeing his wife take charge of the situation in an infinitely more capable manner than he could have done himself without her, Levin's love for Kitty grows. Kitty eventually learns that she is pregnant. In Europe, Vronsky and Anna struggle to find friends who will accept them. Whilst Anna is happy to be finally alone with Vronsky, he feels suffocated. They cannot socialize with Russians of their own class and find it difficult to amuse themselves. Vronsky, who believed that being with Anna was the key to his happiness, finds himself increasingly bored and unsatisfied. He takes up painting and makes an attempt to patronize an émigré Russian artist of genius. However, Vronsky cannot see that his own art lacks talent and passion, and that his conversation about art is extremely pretentious. Increasingly restless, Anna and Vronsky decide to return to Russia. In Saint Petersburg, Anna and Vronsky stay in one of the best hotels, but take separate suites. It becomes clear that whilst Vronsky is still able to move freely in Russian society, Anna is barred from it. Even her old friend, Princess Betsy, who has had affairs herself, evades her company. Anna starts to become anxious that Vronsky no longer loves her. Meanwhile, Karenina is comforted by Countess Lydia Ivanovna, an enthusiast of religious and mystic ideas fashionable with the upper classes. She advises him to keep Soyosha away from Anna and to tell him his mother is dead. However, Soyosha refuses to believe that this is true. Anna visits Soyosha uninvited on his 9th birthday but is discovered by Karenina. Anna, desperate to regain at least some of her former position in society, attends a show at the theatre at which all of St. Petersburg's high society are present. Vronsky begs her not to go, but he is unable to bring himself to explain to her why she cannot attend. At the theatre, Anna is openly snubbed by her former friends, one of whom makes a deliberate scene and leaves the theatre. Anna is devastated. Unable to find a place for themselves in St. Petersburg, Anna and Vronsky leave for Vronsky's own country estate. Part 6. Dolly, her mother the Princess Sherbatskaya, and Dolly's children spend the summer with Levin and Kitty. The Levin's life is simple and unaffected, although Levin is uneasy at the invasion of so many Sherbatskys. He becomes extremely jealous when one of the visitors, Veslovsky, flirts openly with the pregnant Kitty. Levin tries to overcome his jealousy, and briefly succeeds during a hunt with Veslovsky and Oblonsky, but eventually succumbs to his feelings and orders Veslovsky to leave in an embarrassing scene. Veslovsky immediately goes to stay with Anna and Vronsky at their nearby estate. When Dolly visits Anna, she is struck by the difference between the Levins' aristocratic yet simple home life and Vronsky's overtly luxurious and lavish country estate. She is also unable to keep pace with Anna's fashionable dresses or Vronsky's extravagant spending on a hospital he is building. In addition, all is not quite well with Anna and Vronsky. Dolly notices Anna's anxious behavior and her uncomfortable flirtations with Veslovsky. Vronsky makes an emotional request to Dolly, asking her to convince Anna to divorce Karenina so that the two might marry and live normally. Anna has become intensely jealous of Vronsky and cannot bear when he leaves her, even for short excursions. When Vronsky leaves for several days of provincial elections, Anna becomes convinced that she must marry him to prevent him from leaving her. After Anna writes to Karenina, she and Vronsky leave the countryside for Moscow. Part 7. While visiting Moscow for Kitty's confinement, Levin quickly gets used to the city's fast-paced, expensive and frivolous society life. He accompanies Stiva to a gentleman's club, where the two meet Vronsky. Levin and Stiva pay a visit to Anna, who is occupying her empty days by being a patroness to an orphaned English girl. Levin is initially uneasy about the visit, but Anna easily puts him under her spell. When he admits to Kitty that he has visited Anna, she accuses him of falling in love with her. The couple are later reconciled, realizing that Moscow society life has had a negative, corrupting effect on Levin. Anna cannot understand why she can attract a man like Levin, who has a young and beautiful new wife, but can no longer attract Vronsky. Her relationship with Vronsky is under increasing strain, because he can move freely in Russian society while she remains excluded. Her increasing bitterness, boredom, and jealousy cause the couple to argue. Anna uses morphine to help her sleep, a habit she began while living with Vronsky at his country estate. She has become dependent on it. Meanwhile, after a long and difficult labor, Kitty gives birth to a son, Dmitry, nicknamed Mitya. Levin is both horrified and profoundly moved by the sight of the tiny, helpless baby. Stiva visits Karenina to seek his commendation for a new post. During the visit, Stiva asks Karenina to grant Anna a divorce. But Karenina's decisions are now governed by a French clairvoyant recommended by Lydia Ivanovna. The clairvoyant apparently had a vision in his sleep during Stiva's visit and gives Karenina a cryptic message that he interprets in a way such that he must decline the request for divorce. Anna becomes increasingly jealous and irrational towards Vronsky, whom she suspects of having love affairs with other women. She is also convinced that he will give in to his mother's plans to marry him off to a rich society woman. They have a bitter row and Anna believes the relationship is over. She starts to think of suicide as an escape from her torments. In her mental and emotional confusion, she sends a telegram to Vronsky asking him to come home to her, and then pays a visit to Dolly and Kitty. Anna's confusion and anger overcome her and, in conscious symmetry with the railway worker's death on her first meeting with Vronsky, from ground level at the end of a railway platform, she throws herself with fatal intent between the wagon wheel sets of a passing freight train. Part 8. Sergei Ivanovich's latest book is ignored by readers and critics, and he participates in the Russian commitment to pan-Slavism. Stiva gets the post he desired so much, and Karenina takes custody of Vronsky and Anna's baby, ÄnÄ. A group of Russian volunteers, including the suicidal Vronsky, depart from Russia to fight in the Orthodox Bulgarian revolt that has broken out against the Turks. More broadly identified as the Russo-Turkish War. A lightning storm occurs at Levin's estate while his wife and newborn son are outdoors, and, in his fear for their safety, Levin realizes that he does indeed love his son as much as he loves Kitty. Kitty's family is concerned that a man as altruistic as her husband does not consider himself to be a Christian. After speaking at length to a peasant, Levin has a true change of heart, concluding that he does believe in the Christian principles taught to him in childhood and no longer questions his faith. He realizes that one must decide for oneself what is acceptable concerning one's own faith and beliefs. He chooses not to tell Kitty of the change that he has undergone. Levin is initially displeased that his return to his faith does not bring with it a complete transformation to righteousness. However, at the end of the story, Levin arrives at the conclusion that despite his newly accepted beliefs, he is human and will go on making mistakes. His life can now be meaningfully and truthfully oriented toward righteousness. Tolstoy's style in Anna Karenina is considered by many critics to be transitional, forming a bridge between the realist and modernist novel. According to Ruth Benson in her book about Tolstoy's heroines, Tolstoy's diaries show how displeased he was with his style and approach to writing in early drafts of Anna Karenina. Quoting him as stating, "I loathe what I have written. The galleys of Anna Karenina for the April issue of Ruski Vestnik now lie on my table, and I really don't have the heart to correct them. Everything in them is so rotten, and the whole thing should be rewritten. All that has been printed too, scrapped, and melted down, thrown away, renounced." Anna Karenina is commonly thought to explore the themes of hypocrisy, jealousy, faith, fidelity, family, marriage, society, progress, carnal desire and passion, and the agrarian connection to land in contrast to the lifestyles of the city. According to literary theorist Ďábel Kavos, in the novel Anna Karenina, unofficial institutions of the system, presented through social salons, function as part of the power apparatus that successfully calms the disorder created by Anna's irrational emotional action, which is a symbol of resistance to the system of social behavioral control. Translator Rosemary Edmonds wrote that Tolstoy does not explicitly moralize in the book, but instead allows his themes to emerge naturally from the vast panorama of Russian life. She also says one of the novel's key messages is that no one may build their happiness on another's pain. Levin is often considered a semi-autobiographical portrayal of Tolstoy's own beliefs, struggles, and life events. Tolstoy's first name is Lev, and the Russian surname Levin means of Lev. According to footnotes in the Pavel Volohansky translation, the viewpoints Levin supports throughout the novel in his arguments match Tolstoy's outspoken views on the same issues. Moreover, according to W. Gareth Jones, Levin proposed to Kitty in the same way as Tolstoy to Sophia Bears. Additionally, Levin's request that his fiancée read his diary as a way of disclosing his faults and previous sexual encounters parallels Tolstoy's own requests to his fiancée Bears.